Well, here we go into November and the second last month of the year. It's always a very busy month in real estate and often one of the busiest months of the year. So many like to get their real estate purchases done and completed before the new year and to get into their new home before Christmas. But a shortage of property for sale continues to present real challenges for purchasers, and there seems to be no end in sight. There's been a lot of talk over the past 2 weeks about the big four banks raising their interest rates. This of course has nothing to do with the official rates rising and has everything to do with the new banking regulations that are seeing banks choose to raise their rates completely disconnected to the official rate. In fact, there remains strong speculation that the Reserve Bank will reduce official interest rates, perhaps on Melbourne Cup Day. If not, then perhaps prior to Christmas or very, very early in the new year. But surely we all know that the record low interest rates can't keep falling lower and lower. As the economy starts to gain momentum, they will rise. This reminds us that there is a compelling reason for people to get into the property market sooner rather than later, so that buyers can lock in the extremely attractive low interest rates and for extended periods of time through the fixed rates. It also reminds us that people should take advantage of the lower interest rates by paying larger principal payments so as to reduce your loan at a much faster rate than you would have otherwise done so with higher interest rates. I'm pleased to see the banks in their loan approval processes are also factoring an interest rate some 4% higher than the current rate when checking borrowers' capacity to repay in their approval processes. In other words, if the bank doesn't believe that borrowers have the financial capacity to repay a loan with a 4% higher interest rate, then they're not going to get the bank's approval to borrow. This should put to rest the fears that many have that rising interest rates are going to cripple home borrowers and trigger some sort of demise in the property market. The banks increasing their rates in the last few weeks does remind us of two things. First, as I mentioned, don't assume that low interest rates will be with us forever, or indeed in the medium term. And so get in and secure your next property sooner rather than later. The importance of getting a mortgage broker is the second point. You know, you've got to hunt around to find the best deal in the marketplace and to see who'll offer you the best rate. It's usually not one of the big four banks, and most definitely it's not your current financier. You know, when banks believe they have your business, they don't cut you any favours, but rather provide the best offerings and the best deals to those that they're trying to win across their business. You know, last month the loan market, which is Ray White's mortgage arm, arranged finance to the tune of $1.6 billion throughout Australia. And it's just remarkable to see the huge array of different finance options that are available. It's way too big a job for the average borrower to be able to source all those different options. And in any event, they don't have the negotiating power that an organisation like the loan market does. So don't fall into the trap of simply going to your bank for finance. On screen right now, the contact details for the loan market so that you can contact Scott Garner, who heads up that organisation on behalf of our office, and he'll make sure that he's able to check the very best deal for you. Make sure that you're getting at least a competitive quote. Also, for those with existing mortgages, you'd be shocked to know how much you could save from your current repayments by simply asking Scott and his team to see if there's a better deal around that they can source on your behalf. You know, he's been saving people thousands and thousands of dollars in interest rates in recent months. So don't miss out on those savings. Well, that's it for this fortnight. And believe it or not, there's only 3 more e-news reports until Christmas. And I'll have a good deal to share with you in those reports. Stay safe. See you in a fortnight's time.